Hi, I'm Erica.
And I'm Lynn. And today we have a new quilt. It's called One More Time.
I love this. And I don't know if you'd guess it from looking at it, but it's made just with one die.
Right. And so it is the 4.5-inch strip die.
That's right.
And so what do you mostly use your strips for?
I use my 2.5 probably more than anything. And I always use it for my binding, although I know there are 2.25-inch binders out there, so don't worry, we have one for that. But I also use it to cut up my stash, but I cut squares using my strip dies too. So that's what we're going to show you today.
Right, and what I love about this quilt is that usually 4.5-inch strip you make a lot of borders.
Right.
But here we have a quilt that you're making the entire top out of your strip.
That's right, so and it's that 4.5-inch strip die.
Shows the versatility of these strip boards.
Yes, and this would go together so quickly. You're going to cut it in no time. You're going to have it put together in no time.
Right, so should we take a look at it?
Yes.
Okay, so it is really just strips and then all of this wonderful quilting that she did on top of this.
Yes, I love it.
So a really terrific modern look. I mean, you can do a lot with this. We were talking that, so it's the plus blocks, but you could also rotate the this stripe block and you could have a plus and minus quilt too.
Which I think is another really fun idea for it.
Yeah.
And then we really like the little border treatment on the binding. Can you show the binding over there, Lynn?
Okay, so right here, if we can see that, so the designer just brought in some of those fantastic solid colors from the inside of the quilt onto the binding to finish it off.
I love that little pop. I want to try that on my next one.
I'm totally going to do that. All right, so what we're going to do here is that we've already cut, we've cut a couple of 4.5-inch strips.
Right.
And then we're going to cut squares out of this. And then also, this is another strip, and what we've done is we've subcut into this 4.5 by 12.5-inch size.
Right, so we cut the 4.5-inch strip, and then we went ahead, used our rotary cutter and ruler, and cut that down to the 12.5-inch, because this is going to be a 12-inch finished block.
All right, so then this is the leftover piece. I'm going to cut more of this size square with it. Okay, so if we can come over here, I'm just going to show you, I've got my strip board here, and then what you do is you just rotate your strips, and then there's a guideline right here, and if you align that guideline and you cover your blades, that's how you get those squares.
Yes.
And so you can cut many strips at a time.
Right, because you can fan fold. Obviously, squares are not a directional piece. So we can fan fold across this, and as long as we don't go over 6 layers, you could get a lot done. And I have been known to line up several strips on my strip die and really make the most of every cut.
Right, because it's not just squares. You could cut rectangles, there's diamonds, there's lots of different things that you can, lots of different shapes that you can cut with these strip boards besides strips.
Exactly.
Okay, and then we're using our Go Big cutter. These larger boards work on the Go Big and the Go cutter.
Now you're catching that, but
I am.
It's important to note that it would just sit there and wait for you, and it wouldn't.
That's right.
You don't have to hold on to it, but as long as you've got a table underneath it.
It's just out of habit.
I understand. We're a little impatient to show you this quilt.
Okay, so I'm going to slide this off, and then here are our squares. So that's how.
And if you're a person who likes to cut your leftover fabric down into strips and squares, you might already have everything ready to go for this. And you could do it in different sizes too. You would just have, I mean, we did this with the 4.5 and it made the 12-inch finished block, but you could try it with different sizes of squares too and get a completely different look.
Yeah, I think this is really fun and something different that we haven't really shown before.
That's right.
This pattern is available on AccuQuilt.com.
So for more inspiration like this project, be sure and check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest.
At AccuQuilt, we help you cut time
so you can quilt more.